So we're going to talk about Splankna, and just a brief description of Splankna I think would be helpful for people who aren't familiar with that. So Splankna is a Christian trauma healing ministry that uses the mind-body connection. And a lot of people are familiar with schools of mind-body healing and psychology that have been developed in the New Age realm. And so a lot of times people are a little skeptical. But when we think about God as the creator of all things, and he's a redeemer, and if we have a redemptive theology, and we look at God has created the mechanisms that are being used in these protocols. The Splankna Institute has taken and gotten rid of all the New Age conclusions that people draw from what we see happening in trauma healing ministry, and put a Christian protocol together, which is just fantastic. And if we look at how traumas are stored in the body, we can use the same technology, the same understanding that they use in chiropractic and acupuncture for physical healing. We can use those for emotional, spiritual healing. And the way that traumas are stored in our body, and we say trauma, that's just anything that has hurt you. You know, some people say, well, I haven't been through any major traumas, but we've all been through trauma. We've all had things that hurt us. And some of those things can even be pre-memory or like early that we can't get to. And with Splankna, we can get to those. And that's one of the real benefits of Splankna. And so as we understand the mechanisms that God created and God designed, how our body to function, and how that also then, when we go through a trauma, sometimes creates these patterns of behavior and thinking that we get stuck in. And so what we can do with Splankna is go in and figure out where have these been stored in our mind-body connection and be able to remove them. Most people, in fact, I think all people have experienced the issue of saying, I have this pattern of behavior, this pattern of thinking, and I'm going to fix that. I'm going to get rid of that. And we try, right? We have willpower. I'm going to do it this time. And we get so far, and then it's like we lose grip. And I like to use an illustration that makes sense to me. If something was submerged in the deep end of a pool and had a bunch of weights on it, no matter how good a swimmer you are, these weights, as you get it towards the top, you'd lose your grip, couldn't quite get it to the top, and it would go back to the bottom of the pool. And I think that a lot of traumas and patterns in our life are like that. We can't break out of those patterns because they're stuck because of those traumas, those emotions, those agreements that are just in there. And what we can do with Splankna, through using the meridians that they use in acupuncture for physical healing, we can use that for emotional healing, and we can release those emotions. It's like going down to the bottom of the pool and cutting off each of those weights. And then by the time, and this is really what a session is like, by the time we get sort of to the end of the session, it's like that thing, whatever it is, that pattern, that behavior, those thoughts are sort of floating on the top, and people are more, now they become aware, and we've all had that experience where as we're going through a Splankna session, people are like, I know what this is. And it's like, now I can see it, now I can get a grip on it, and now I know what's been keeping me stuck in that pattern. And then we go into healing prayer, and it's like we can just take that issue, that pattern, that behavior, and remove it. And as people come back after a session or two, and they start to say, I didn't notice anything at first, but then I just noticed that things would happen that would trigger that pattern, and it's not happening anymore.